Yo, what's good, y'all? Sheemie Dubb, Saturday Who Podcast. I wanted to leave y'all a little gem real quick, if I could have a moment of your time. Let me talk to y'all about survivor's remorse. I dealt with survivor's remorse. I got my phone on my lap because I looked up some definitions. I dealt with survivor's remorse in my own way, what I believe to be survivor's remorse. I wasn't in a tragic accident or anything like this, but it's just the analogies of life and how words play on different aspects of our lives. So survivor's remorse, survivor's guilt. I googled it. So Google Wiki says survivor guilt or survivor's guilt happens when individuals feel guilty after they survive a near death or traumatic event. It is also a symptom of PTSD. So scrolling down, centerstone.org. Don't know this website, but they also say it's a response to an event which someone else experienced loss, but you did not. But it implies not just to the loss of life, it could also be the loss of property, the loss of health, or identity. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about identity. So how did Sheemie Dubb deal with survivor's remorse? I'm from the Bronx, projects in the Bronx. And at 18, I made one of the best decisions of my life to go off and work for a certain organization. Still work for that organization now. When I left, I was introduced to different sides of life, different walks of life, more diversity in the people I was around. So I got to know a new side of life from different from the small Bronx projects that I grew up in. So the mindset is different. It elevates. You grow in certain areas. And it's impactful. So how does survivor's remorse come into play? My brothers, my siblings, like my friends, cousins, they stayed in the Bronx. Of course, your decision, your own individual decision is yours. It's a choice. But they stayed in the Bronx. They lived the life of gangsters, drug dealers, hustlers. They did that. And while they were going to war in the Bronx, while they were doing all these things, I had a remorseful feeling in the sense of, damn, I don't want them to think that I'm better than them. I don't want them to think that I'm leaving them behind. I didn't make enough money to bring everybody with me, right? And I think money's not important, but I think that's where it becomes resourceful. But if people don't do the work, then why money is not going to change anything about them. But that's a different topic, different conversation. But I didn't have money to move the whole family to a different part of the States, right? Or to change their lives. I just changed my environment and my life. And I still dealt with my ups and downs within that environment, but I dealt with that remorse because they were still slanging, gangs, all that stuff. So often when I went back home, I made the bad decisions of, I'm still like y'all. I'm still like y'all, even though deep down I know I'm not. I'm still like y'all. Just so I could fit in, so they didn't feel ostracized or they didn't feel like they were beneath me. So, and I say that survivor's remorse because that kind of trauma and that guilt that I felt controlled how I act as a young man. And I went out there and I went into those streets and I did stupid things and I said stupid things, and it held me back from the growth and potential that I could have had then. No regrets. Everything happens. Everything's according to God's plan. But this video is about survivor's remorse. Don't be remorseful in changing your life. Change your life. Do the things to the best of your ability to break your generational curses, to become anew and find your path. Unfortunately, some of your family members won't follow you. They won't. Some of them will still stay on the path that they want to stay on. Some of them will. Some of them will take time. That's where grace and patience comes in. But don't utilize all your resources too soon. to try to change people's lives either. Be there, be present for them, and be an example. And in that example, the ones who will follow. Don't combat the survivor's remorse. I know there's some young people right now, there's probably some 18, 19-year-olds right now, got accepted to big Ivy League colleges, and they're probably just barely making it, or they got scholarships, full rides. And then there's a cousin that's like a brother or sister back home, struggling, and you dealing with that remorse, you dealing with that. Just do what you do. Go on your path. Your path is as an individual. Do what God has got set out for you, and we'll see what happens, right? We can't control what others do. But I just want to touch on that real quick. Touch on that. You know, these things pop to mind, and I want to share them with y'all. So how do I share it? Just turn on the camera and just get it. So survivor's remorse, that's my version of survivor's remorse. I dealt with that. I snapped out of it. And unfortunately, I had to stay away from home, from New York, from the Bronx. I had to stay away in order to build up the muscle and the dexterity to not be pulled into the environment or not feel sorry for the people that were placing themselves in those situations. It's real. Survivor's remorse is real. And it's in different aspects of just a car accident or any type of accident or any type of traumatic physical event. It's mental and emotional too. So love yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Stay blessed. And thank y'all for tuning in. Saturday what? Saturday huh? Saturday who? Sheemie Dubb out.